Born in 1867 in Richland Center, Wisconsin, Frank Lloyd Wright would go on to design over 1,000 different structures and become a pioneer of 20th century architecture. Through his work in residential architecture specifically, Wright would create two different famous styles, the Prairie and the Usonian, that would incorporate key characteristics that show how Wright is one of the most influential architects in American history. In his over 500 different residential projects, Wright incorporated the philosophy of organic architecture. This is how he would term something where he incorporated the natural world with the man-made structure. Instead of taking a house and just building it on a plot of land, fighting with the nature around it, Wright would design the house to correspond to the landscapes it would be built in, so that they can work together and complement each other to bring out the beauty in both the nature and the house. With this in mind, in the 1890s, Wright created the first ever uniquely American architecture style. That is the Prairie style. Inspired by the large, flat landscapes of the Midwest, Wright would incorporate these into his homes using large horizontal visual features. These included stone and brickwork to incorporate horizontal lines, also large rows of windows and large roof lines at the top of the house. Additionally, Prairie-style homes had large hip roofs with large overhangs, again, just elongating those horizontal features. Prairie homes were quite expensive, tailored to the upper-class citizen. With this in mind, Wright would create everything about the home. He would create not just the physical structure, but he would design the stained glass windows that fit in it, as well as the tapestries and furniture that would adorn the inside and the landscapes that would surround it. He liked to have his hand on it all. The most famous example of his Prairie style would be the house named Falling Water in Mill Run, Pennsylvania. But then, after the Great Depression, Wright recognized a shift in the American family economics, and he wanted to take some of his features from his famous Prairie style and bring them down into a more affordable style of architecture. Thus, the Usonian architecture was born. Usonian homes have a few key characteristics, the most important of which being large open floor plans and large windows which would let in a lot of natural light. Additionally, they would create a merge between the interior spaces and the exterior spaces. And as I said, Usonian homes brought in certain characteristics from Prairie homes, most namely Wright's organic architecture, and also a bit of a nod to those horizontal lines. The most famous example of Wright's Usonian architecture would be the Jacobs home in Madison, Wisconsin. Through the characteristics displayed in his Prairie and Usonian architecture styles that are still used in architecture today, most namely the incorporation of natural light and large open floor plans, Wright displayed himself to be one of the most influential architects in American history.